sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. So a lot of us in sales were taught early on, hell, maybe taught yesterday or today, you got to be persistent. We hear that all the time. Be persistent, be persistent, be persistent. Keep calling people over and over and over again. Don't give up. Don't take no for an answer. I will tell you that's terrible advice. Terrible advice. No is a really good answer some of the time. It's my second favorite word. I hear it a lot. And got to be honest with you, 95% of the time, I welcome no. The other 5% of the time, I don't know, maybe it's my children tell me no, right? I beat them upside the head, those sweet little things. Being persistent, right? We're always taught this. Call them back. Don't give up. Keep calling until they call you back. I've said that myself years ago before I knew what I was doing. It's a guy that worked for IBM. I remember this was in the real estate business, and they owned a piece of property in Columbia, South Carolina. And I wanted to see if they hadn't built on it. They'd owned it for 20 years. I wanted to see if they were willing to sell it. And I found the real estate manager's name. And I said, I'm going to call that sucker every single day until he calls me back. I think I called him 2 months in a row until finally I gave up. And I realized all I was doing was making a jackass of myself. It doesn't increase your odds. If somebody's not going to call you back, they're not going to call you back. Take the hint. So here's what I'll tell you. Here's a little secret. And this may sound crazy to some of you guys, but let's pretend you've had a conversation. How often has it happened that you got ghosted? You talk to somebody, maybe you've had a good conversation, maybe you sent them your proposal, gave them the information, right? And they said, call me back, or let me think about it, or whatever the hell they said, right? And you took that as okay, boy, you're saying I got a chance, kind of like Dumb and Dumber. You're saying I got a chance, right? So some of y'all have heard I went about this car buying venture here in the last couple of weeks. I dealt with a lot of car dealers. Actually, I had a pretty good experience with most of them. But I worked with one dealer for a while, and then I moved on to another. And the salesman that I left at the first dealership, he called me back about 3 days after he hadn't heard from me. And I saw that it was him. And he's a nice guy. I don't want to let him down. But I didn't want to talk to him. I'm busy. I'm not going to buy anything from him. I don't want to talk to him. He leaves me a voicemail. Mr. McKay, please call me back. Have some things I want to ask you about, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. I'm busy. I'm not going to call him back. He calls back the next morning. Calls me twice the next day. Doesn't leave me a voicemail, but I know it's him. He calls back another day. And once again, leaves me a voicemail. Hey, Mr. McKay, I want to talk to you. We have something else you should look at, blah, 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 blah. He calls back again, a third time, leaves me a voicemail. Here's what I'm sitting here thinking at the third time. Don't call me back. Leave me alone. What part of me not calling you back the last 3 times makes you think that continuing to call me is going to make any kind of a difference? He called back 3 or 4 more times, right? Not calling him back. It pissed me off. Unprofessional. Salespeople, do not beg. Do not seem needy. It does not help you at all. All this, just call him back to see if you had any questions. Hey, I've got some idea. Well, got some ideas for you, or just wanted to see if you're ready to move forward with this thing, right? Bullshit. Bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. So here's what I want you to do. Regain your respect. Stop being a freaking pest. This being persistent thing is hurting your reputation. Here's what I want you to do. When you are calling someone and leaving a voice message, once you've left the voice message, they're in control. All right? They've got your information. They're in control. Now, I don't mean like cold calling. I'm talking about if you've given them information and you've left a voice message, hey, I'm calling you back. You left a voice message. They're in control. They have your information. They're in control. You will not get control back by leaving more voice messages. Here's what I suggest to people. If you're supposed to call somebody back on Friday, call them back on Friday. If you get their voice message, leave a short voice message. Hey, John, this is Walker. You asked me to call you back today, so I am. You know my number, right? Because it's on the damn caller ID. You don't need to leave it. If you choose to call them back a second time 3 days later, fine. Hey, John, this is Walker. You asked me to call you back last Friday. Sorry I missed you. Call me back. Fine. Okay. You've left 2 messages now. If you do not hear back, here is the only message you should leave beyond that. And in your nicest tone of voice. Hey, John, this is Walker. Hadn't heard back from you. I'm assuming you've gone a different direction. No big deal. I'll close your file. Look forward to seeing you guys. Look forward to seeing you another time. Hope our paths cross again. Click and hang up. In your nicest tone of voice. Now, I know what you're thinking. But Walker, I don't want to tell them no, because then they'll never call me back again. Here's the deal. If they're not calling you, remember, in a sales process, until somebody gives you a check, until money changes hands somehow, you have 0. If somebody's not calling you back, you have less than 0. If you want to take back control of the situation, right? And all we can get is 50% control. If you want to take back control of the situation, call and in your nicest tone of voice, say, hey, listen, I'm assuming you've gone a different direction. Don't do this shit. Maybe you've been taken up by aliens. It's not that funny. Don't do that. I'm assuming you've gone a different direction. No big deal. I'll close your file. Hope our paths cross again soon. And you know what? At that point, guess who just gained control again? You did. Here's what will happen. And I don't have statistics on which is one or the other. Either they will call you back within 24 hours and say, no, please don't close my file. And you say, okay, wow, what happened? You've just gained control again. Or they don't call you back and you had nothing anyway, right? Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Don't continue to call people over and over and over again who are not calling you back. It does not help. It only hurts. Close the file. Chances are they'll call you back or they won't. Either way, you can emotionally distance yourself from that and keep moving. We have programs at the No BS Sales School we're starting every single month. We've got a couple of goals workshops coming up here before the end of the year. If you want to be a part of that, reach out to me, Walker at walkermckay.com. We're doing this for clients and for non-clients. So please reach out to me, Walker at walkermckay.com, and we'll get you signed up for a goals class. Good luck. Keep moving. We got lots of opportunities in front of us. Let's go get them. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you haven't already, please take 1 minute to write a quick review for the show. It really does make a huge difference. Also, subscribe to the show and please forward this episode to somebody else who needs to hear it. As a bonus for listening, I'm going to give you access to a free mini course, 7 expensive sales mistakes you're making and what you can do about it. Go to www.7salesmistakes.com and get access to the free mini course. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.